So hi everyone, here we are again. Some little something for the weekend maybe. It's Friday the 24th of April. So I hope you're all well. Again, we thought we'd do some, I quite like the My Warrior series. That's one of my favourite ones to really feel a bit more grounded. So I thought we'd maybe touch on those. Again, there will be options to do a gentler version. There will be obviously those of you that are more familiar and more comfortable, stronger with your any poses, then please feel free to go as deep and become as open as you need to. Okay, so remember this is your practice. But before we do that, let's just do some connecting, dropping in. So remember, you can lie down on your mat, you can sit up, do whatever you'd like to do. You can keep your eyes open, you can close your eyes. What I'd like us to do is just find a position where you're comfortable. We're going to stay here for probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 minutes, connecting with our breath, noticing how we feel within our breath, noticing if we can actually follow the breath in and go inside. Maybe that's the way to actually go inside. I know some people find it hard. I do sometimes too, especially at the moment when there's so much going on in my mind, in my emotions. It's hard sometimes to kind of shut everything out. So maybe to follow the breath, actually going inside your body, kind of visualize it. Maybe that will help us. So with your eyes closed or open, maybe half open, little fuzzy gaze, whatever feels right for you. Sitting up tall if you're in a seated position, lying down, knees bent, knees straight, whatever works for you. And just take a few moments here. Feel your body. Feel the contact your body is making with the floor. It doesn't matter what it is, just notice it. Feel the alignment of your body. Maybe make little adjustments, little micro adjustments. Allow your body to realign itself. And listen to your body. Remember, we come to the mat every time with a body that we woke up with this morning. With all its aches and pains, tightness, restrictions, we need to accept them, embrace them, and bring them to the mat. So your practice is just that. It's your practice. It's not everybody else's. We're all different. We've got different proportions, different levels of flexibility. It's fine. Let's not complain about, oh, I can't do that, my hamstrings are too tight. Find a position that works for you, okay? Remember BKS Iyengar's wonderful little phrase, if you can breathe, you can do yoga. So let's just do that. Let's focus on the breath. Just notice your gentle organic breath. Notice how soft it is, how light. But you still may, when you focus on it, notice the sense of your body expanding to draw the breath in. Maybe you can hear that very subtle. There's always a very gentle sound to our breath. We can incorporate that. The Ujjayi breath makes it a bit louder. And then just begin to lengthen and deepen your breath at your own pace. If you feel it's more comfortable or more aware of your body moving, put your hands on your belly by all means. Maybe one on your chest, one on your belly. Hands beside you on your lap, whatever works for you. Begin to feel your body moving a little bit more. And whether you're lying on the floor or seated, draw the breath into the back of your body as well as the front. Draw the breath into the sides, the ribs coming down underneath your armpits. So you begin to feel, just like a Hoberman's sphere, that lovely plastic toy that expands into a bigger ball, contracts into a smaller one. You feel your whole rib cage with the intercostal muscles, all the other muscles that become breathing muscles. You feel the whole rib cage expanding, deepening, widening, opening. And maybe set an intention, maybe for this practice, maybe for your whole day. Maybe you'd like to feel a bit more grounded. Maybe your intention may be, I'm going to make sure that I do feel more grounded. I'm going to be more aware of being grounded. Maybe it's just getting through the day. I know for a lot of people there's lots of stuff going on. And we're just going to take 5 deep breaths here. Go as deep as you feel you need to. Maybe hold it just for a couple of seconds. We're going to lengthen the exhale longer than your inhale. So you may find it easier to count. Some of you can gauge your breath duration. So maybe breathe in for 4, hold it for 2 or 3, maybe 4, and exhale for at least 8 if you can, maybe 6 or 7. Take it easy. So you feel that you're really letting go, reminding yourself of what your exhale does. I breathe in everything that I need. I hold it in, allowing it to go wherever it needs, and I let go of everything I no longer need. We can stay at a little pause at the end of your exhale if you like, and then repeat. Do that a couple more times. Your time, your counting, whatever works for you. Feel your body opening, drawing that beautiful energy, your prana, your chi in. Let it float wherever it needs to go. And just release all the stuff that no longer serves you. Excellent. And then if you were seated, let's come and join everybody who maybe was lying down. And we're just going to come into knees bent position. We're just going to warm our body up before we come into our practice. We're going to do a few little pelvic tilts here, just rolling up and down, not coming up into bridge. We can maybe combine that with your toes. Lift the toes off the floor as the tailbone drops down. Roll onto the toes as you lift the tailbone up. So you're kind of rolling the soles of your feet as well as through the pelvic girdle. Little swaying of the knees from side to side. And again, as always, you can go as deep as you need to. So we can go right over to one side, you can go over to the other, you can let it be a gentle rocking motion. We're going to draw both knees in towards our chest, hug them in, we can lift up through the head and shoulders down, draw the chin in, try to feel that lovely stretch in the back of your neck. We can lengthen the left leg up to the ceiling, holding onto the right leg. Do some little ankle rolls here. Just releasing any tightness that may be there. Slowly draw the left leg in, fold them in, keep the tailbone on the ground if you can, up to the ceiling with the right leg, and slowly and gently just do some little ankle rolls here. Don't forget to unwind them. I may have forgot to mention that in the last one, so don't forget to unwind them. Perfect. And then draw both legs back in. Hands on knees, just do a few little circular motions. And then unwind again. Perfect. Hold on to the right leg again. Squeeze that knee right up. Both feet flex. I actually can't stretch my legs out here, but extend the legs out. Slowly come back in. Fold both legs in. Hold on to the left leg and fully extend the right leg out. Let it come down to the floor maybe, or hover it. And then slowly come back up. Fabulous. Individual circles. Open up those hips. Just a little gentle releasing through those tight hips. Almost visualize the head of your femur bone, your thigh bone rotating in that hip socket. And again, 3 or 4 in each direction, whatever works for you. Arms out to the side, let the feet come down to the ground, widen the feet as wide as your mat. If you notice, I've got a mat today. We don't always have to use a mat. I just thought I'd get mine out for a change. Slowly and gently roll to the inside of your left foot, the outer edge of your right foot. Let those knees just fall away. Inhale, gently come back up again. Let's go to the other side. Inside of your right foot, outside edge of your left foot. Try to keep the shoulders, the upper back pretty grounded if you can. Just do that one more time on both sides. Remember, this knee never has to touch the floor. Some of you, it may does quite comfortably. It's fine. We'll come back maybe and do this later. We'll probably find that we'll feel a little bit more open. And notice the tightness down through the obliques. Slowly and gently come back to centre. Perfect. So we're going to do that one again. We're going to allow those legs to come over to the right-hand side. You're going to take your hands above you if you've got room. If not, bend the elbows. But see if you have got room. And just going to take your body a little bit over to the left-hand side. So we're kind of really extending this stretch now right up here. And we've got a little bit of a twist going on the left side. Slowly come back to centre with your head, shoulders and arms. Lift up through those legs, realign through the spine, and let's go to the other side. So now we take the head, shoulders and the arms over to the right hand side. Again, deepening this rotation a little bit here, stretching all the way through our body. Breathing into that left side. Slowly come back to centre. Lift up through those knees. Bring the feet a little bit closer towards each other. A few little pelvic tilts. Move the head a little bit from side to side. And just take a few breaths here. Notice how you feel. Draw those knees in. Remember, we can hold on to the back of your thighs. If you prefer, you can cross your ankles over. Reach down through the outer edge of each of your feet. Roll the feet overhead and bring yourself up to a seated position. So just for a little while, we're going to stay seated. Remember, you've got anything you can use to help to support you if you need to come up a little bit more. I'm going to use a cushion here. I have got my blocks here, but it's over on the other sofa, so I'm going to leave it there. So I'm just going to come and sit on the edge of my cushion. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable for me to stay in a cross-legged position for, not even very long, but just a little while longer. So just taking a few moments here, notice how you feel. Drop back in again. Crown the head being lifted up by that golden thread to the ceiling. Roll the shoulders. Kind of drop into the alignment of your spine. Really focus on the alignment. We need to really keep this a lot through the warrior poses especially, but through actually every pose in yoga. From the crown of your head to your tailbone. There's a natural curvature to your spine. You want to maintain that. We don't want to overarch through the back. We don't want to over round through the upper back. So going to draw the navel in a bit. Zip up the front of your body. You're going to slide that left hand away. Just slide it right out of the way. Maybe some of you can bring the elbow down to the ground, leaning over, and just take a handful of breaths here. Rotating up through the armpit towards the ceiling. You can take the arm out further as long as you soften through this elbow. It doesn't have to come down to the ground. Drop this right hip down as you lean over and breathe into that right side. If you can look up to the ceiling if that's too much for your neck. Then take a gaze at the floor, maybe close your eyes. Slowly and gently come back. Really allow those oblique muscles to lift you up as you change sides. Now the right hand goes to the floor, left arm comes over. Again, maybe coming down onto, you may find one side's much tighter than the other, it's totally fine. Spiraling the ribs, the armpits up towards the ceiling. Again, let your gaze, your drishti go wherever you feel it needs to. Drop that left hip down, breathe into the left side, feel that beautiful stretch, soften the right elbow, and on the next inhale, lift yourself up, and just come back to center. Take a few moments here, notice how you feel. So let's come up onto our hands and knees. So we're going to come through our cat-cow positions. So again, hands underneath your shoulders. Remember, we've had this discussion before. If that works for you, that's fabulous. If it doesn't work for you, then find a position that does. Hands under the shoulders is your cue. Make it work for you. Knees underneath your hips. I perfectly like having my toes tucked under. Then just do a few rounds of your cat-cow. Rolling the shoulders. Notice how movable or how mobile your shoulders are. Drawing the navel in, tucking the tailbone under. And maybe listen to all that. My body's making some very strange noises. Listen to the crunches. Can you detect where they are? Where are they happening? Is it your spine, your shoulder girdle? And kind of let your tailbone almost lead. Just one more time. Draw the navel in, tailbone tucked under, nose to pubic bone. And then the complete opposite. Perfect. Just move your hands a little bit over to the right hand side as you bring that right foot forwards, and just very gently come into, again, a little bit of a lunge here. Opening through the hips, you can have a little play with it. Remember, you can lift up through that back leg. Just check out how that feels. Slowly bring that right foot back, move the hands a little bit over to the right hand side so that now the left foot can come forwards. And exactly the same on this side. Check out how tight your hips are, the hip flexors on the right leg here, and of course the hamstrings on the left leg, whether you come into the lunge or the stretch. Just going to notice how that all feels. Perfect. Slowly bring that leg back. And then tucking your toes under, and again, if you need support for your knees, maybe put a cushion there. Remember how we just make that kind of an extra pleat. So you've got a little bit more padding for your knees. And let's just make sure that the front of our body is nice and open. Be aware of your tailbone dropping down to the ground. We're just going to put our hands or fists into the lower back with almost a little bit of downward pressure here to keep the tailbone dropping. So what I don't want us to do is to seriously arch through the back. So fists or hands, whenever you're ready, inhale, leave the pelvis still. And just lift up, bring the elbows together, lift up through the chest, lift up through the sternum, lift up through the collarbone, and just look up a little bit towards the ceiling. Slowly and gently come down. You may find you want to come into a little child's pose to rest through the back. And let's do that 2 more times. If you can, let the fingertips come up your spine, just a little bit either side, so that again you've got this lovely stretching. So we're not bringing the hips back with us. We're not arching through the back. Lifting up through the chest, the collarbone, the chin, squeezing those elbows together. And then exhale, slowly and gently come back down. And just bend forwards, leaning forwards, rounding through the back. Just 1 more time. Find whatever position works for you. Right then. We've all got things going on, carpal tunnel, arthritis maybe. Squeeze the elbows, open up through the chest. And feel that the thoracic spine is the only part of your spine that's actually back bending. We're trying to protect the lumbar spine here. And then slowly and gently come forwards. And let's come into our child's pose. Maybe you can support your head on your hands. 1 potato, 2 potato position. If you prefer, you can widen your knees a little bit. Bring the hands back behind you. Allow maybe your chest and your belly to come through those thighs, giving you a little bit more of a length in the lumbar spine here. And just take a few breaths here. And then slowly and gently come back up. Maybe do a little twist. Just check out how your spine feels. Feels good. Let's do that a couple more times. So I have actually put my mat close to my sofa here for a purpose, because what I thought we could do is show different levels of how we do some of our warrior poses, so that we've got something to support. Maybe we talk about, put your hands on the floor, the shins, your toes, and I know a lot of people can't reach that for whatever reason. Remember, it's our body proportion sometimes too. So I didn't put it there, it's there all the time at the moment, but I've put my mat in purpose in front of it. So let's gently come up. We're going to take the hands in front of you, tuck the toes under, lifting up through those hips, little wiggle. Maybe walk those feet back a little bit, soften the knees, give those hips a little wiggle. Maybe come up with the balls of your feet, round up. Slowly and softly come here again. And then just gently walk your feet up towards your hands. When you feel you need to have a little stop, then do. Come into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Remember to keep the back of the knees soft. The belly and the ribs go on the thighs, and we soften down. Again, it could be here that you wanted to use this. It might help through the shoulders, maybe. Slowly and gently bend the knees, rounding yourself up, stacking those vertebrae, coming up to Tadasana. So let's find our warrior pose. We know there are 3 of them. We're going to start with our warrior 1, because that seems to make sense. There are several ways to get into it. Let's start off a little bit, maybe a little bit more casually, shall we say. So feet about hip width apart. Imagine you've got tram lines going right the way back to your mat. So I'm going to do it the same side as I'm working, although it will look to you like I'm using my left. Actually, let me see if I can try and do that. So pick up your left leg and take it back. At least 1 metre is the suggested movement, okay? That may not work for all of you. Remember, we're all different. So find a position, your back foot is very slightly turned out and your front knee needs to come over your ankle. So if you find it coming further over, wiggle those toes forwards. So hips, remember we've got those headlights glued to our hips. So just kind of try and see how that feels. We want to keep that back heel on the ground for the moment. There's lots of poses where we can lift it up, we can do all sorts of stuff, but for now, let's keep it here. And then we've got the sofa here for a reason, okay? So you're going to bend through your right knee, and you're going to bring your hands onto the sofa. And just see how that feels. Give the hips a bit of a wiggle, maybe round through the back, and then try to let the collarbone of the chest again come forwards. And then when you're ready, inhale, lift those arms up. Keep everything else in place. Keep this left hip coming forwards. And just soften. So we're not rigid up here. I'm trying not to get my shoulders come up my ears. And the worry one is the subtle back bend. So I need to keep my tailbone dropping to the floor as I lift up through my sternum, just like we did when I was on my knees. Try to push back into that heel. Use the big toe of your right foot to help you as well. And then slowly and softly come forwards again. We're going to rest our hands on the sofa. If you haven't got the sofa, then you bring them down to the floor. Again, straighten through this right leg. Again, we may be up here, that may be a bit more accessible for you. Try to kind of have the head coming down between the arms, whatever position you're in, to allow the spine to lengthen. Slowly bend through that right knee, step the left foot forwards, and roll yourself up. Perfect. So if you do want to use the sofa or the chair, coffee table, whatever it is, then stay facing this way and just go the other side. So now for you, it looks like I'm using my right leg, so let's do that. So we pick up the right foot, we take it back about a metre or so, and then find your position, okay? Because all of our legs are different. Again, that back foot slightly turned out, front leg is the front foot's pointing towards the top of your mat, and we want that knee to just come over the ankle, no further. Headlights here, so I need to bring my right hip forwards a little bit so I know that I've got my hips parallel, tailbone to the ground, lifting up, zip up the front of your body here before we even start moving. So that as we come forwards, my whole body is coming just slightly forwards, so I'm not kind of leaning into it. Keep this alignment. Remember I said we were lying down? Focus on the crown of your head to your tailbone. So we're going to bend through the knee, we're going to fold at this left hip crease, bring the hands down to the sofa or the floor, wherever you are. Just take a little breath there, and then whenever you're ready, inhale, lift up, keep from the waist down, doesn't move at all. I'm so hoping I'm doing this right, I can't see and do at the same time. Keep the hips coming forwards, tailbone to the ground. The pubic bone kind of comes forwards a little bit, that's giving you a super deep stretch through this right thigh and the hip flexors. And remember, we keep the tailbone down, draw the navel into the inner spine, and maybe be able to come up. If you can bring your hands together, that's fabulous. They can be wide, whatever works for your shoulders. One more breath here, and then slowly come forwards. Again, if you prefer to use whatever you've got in front of you, straightening through the leg, head down between your arms, or fingertips on the floor, either side of this left foot, and bring that left hip back, so you're really getting into the hamstrings here. Take a breath there. And then slowly step the right foot forwards, rounding up through, coming back into your mountain pose, Tadasana. Fabulous. You can bring our hands to our heart center, drop the thumbs into your heartbeat. And just take a few moments to feel grateful for the movements your body has already made this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening. Okay, so we're going to come into a warrior two. Warrior two, a little bit stronger. Again, we're going to use this sofa, chair, coffee table, whatever it is. So pick up your left foot again. We're going to come back, and a little bit wider this time. And we want, in effect, these headlights to come to the long side of your mat. I know from my own experience that I need to take my back foot a little bit further back. That heel is a little bit wider than my little toe, I've still got my knee coming over my foot here, and if I need to widen it, then I can. And those heels are kind of in alignment. If you like, my right heel here is just gently kind of dissecting my left heel. And just take a few moments here. Okay, if you can't go this wide, remember I've got quite long legs. And again, feel the alignment here through the body. The tailbone is dropping to the floor. As I come over, I'm trying not to lean into my right knee. I'm trying, again, the crown of my head to my tailbone. Remember, that was our alignment kind of focus. And then slowly just kind of check out how you feel. Keep the tailbone coming down. There's a very great danger here of kind of tucking the butt out a little bit. And soften down. Maybe just come up, have a little stretch here, and then slowly come down again. Soften through the shoulders. We don't want them to be wrapped around. Check out this knee. I noticed my right knee was just coming in there, so make sure I can still see my big toe as you come into your warrior two. So we can stay here for however long you want to. We can come back out of it maybe. As you come down, maybe turn the palms up. So you're rotating through the upper arm bone. Notice how that may feel a bit more open across your chest. And then we all know our very lovely classic, the peaceful warrior. Again, I'm straightening my right knee here. We're going to do it differently in a moment. I quite like this though. And I can look down at my left heel here. And as I come forwards, what we can do is lean on that sofa. Tuck your left hand behind you. Otherwise, the elbow comes onto the knee. We bring the arm up. Maybe we bring it over. Slowly and gently come back up through all the different phases. Now this time keep the right knee bent as you come into your warrior reverse here. Peaceful warrior. Looking up if you can or to the floor. Slowly come down again. Maybe you're using the sofa. Maybe you want to tuck the hand behind you. That's softer for your shoulder. Maybe supporting yourself. Again, just come as deep as you feel you need to. Coming back out of it exactly the same ways. Slowly bringing your hands together. Rotating through that right foot. We'll come into a little forward fold here. Slowly and gently folding forwards. Gently coming down. And again, supporting yourself with your hands on the floor. You may want to tuck your head between your arms. When you're down here, if you're comfortable, you can come a little bit further maybe and just bring your forearms to the floor. Whatever works for you. And then slowly walk your hands back to that right foot. Rotate through. If you widened it, you probably need to shorten the distance and then come back. Rounding as you come back up. So if you're not going to use your chair, then obviously you just come to the other side. If you do want to use the chair, then you're going to have to come around this way with your back to me so that you can again use the chair as you come into your stretching. If you don't want to use the chair, then we just go to the other side. So we're coming from our position here. We either stretch out through the left leg or we can change. I'm going to obviously come here, otherwise I will have my back to you all the time. So now it's the right leg that goes out. Again, get the alignment through the heels. Widen yourself as wide as you feel you need to. Try to bring those hip crowns as far round to the long side of your mat or open 90 degrees from where your left foot is. And remember our anatomy, most of us won't be able to do that. So just have a little try. Open up through the arms, make sure you can still see the big toe of your left foot. Soften the shoulders and maybe just stretch right up. Zip up the front of your body, really draw that navel into the inner spine. Tailbone drops to the floor. Crown of your head to your tailbone, let that be your alignment. Maybe one more time. And then you can keep this knees bent as you come into your first peaceful warrior. Whatever works for you. Again, as you come down, if you've got the sofa there, use it to help you tuck the arm behind if your shoulder's tight. Left elbow on your left leg, arm up to the ceiling, or come into the full extended side angle. Almost trying to get that straight line from the outer edge of your right ankle to your middle finger of your right hand. Come back out through the whole shebang. Straighten through the leg this time. Let's come back into your peaceful warrior with a straight leg. Coming back down into your warrior two. Again, elbow on the knee, arm over, tuck it behind you. Use whatever, I've got a unit here, maybe I could use that. And then slowly warrior two. And come back up again, bring those arms right up, rotate through that left foot, hands at your heart center, and let's fold here. Really feel that you're folding, so that rather than kind of staying upright and rounding, you're kind of letting the hips come back a little bit. You're keeping this natural arch in your lumbar spine as you fold at your hip creases. When you're here, support yourself with your hands, widen your feet if you need to. Coming down maybe onto your forearms if you're able to. Maybe put your head on the floor. Take a few breaths here. And then in your own time, just walk your foot back towards walk your hands back towards your left foot. Slowly coming up again. And in your own time, rounding yourself up. Take a few moments in your mountain pose, Tadasana. Maybe feel a bit of energy flowing through you, a bit of warmth. Hands at your heart center, feel that beating heart. So the last one of our Virabhadrasana poses, Warrior 3. It's a balanced pose. Again, purposely using the sofa to help us to do that. If you don't need to use it, then it's totally fine. So again, we're going to take our stand kind of pretty much halfway up the mat. Okay, again, we can come into all of these, and another time we will. We'll come into it as part of our flow, come into it doing our downward dog and stepping forwards, etc. But for now, we're just going to do this. So take your hands into your heart center. Again, drop the tailbone down without kind of tucking it right under. Keep that alignment, draw the navel in. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Try to get the sense of the back of the neck still stretching as you bring this chin in just a little way. Maybe soften the knees as you inhale, lift up through those arms. And as you exhale, just fold forwards. So just coming down into our forward fold. So bend the knees, let the hands walk forwards. Okay, this is where the sofa may come in. Bring the hands forwards here. Pick up through, let's do the left foot first. Pick up through the left foot, hold it up, stretch it out behind you. Real slow, I'm making sure I'm not knocking my plants over. And we can either slowly soften ourselves here, lifting up so we're making a straight line, head's in the straight line as well. If your fingers are still on the floor, again, make sure we're not lifting up through this hip too much. Try to balance it. And you may want to just bring your hands to your heart center. We can maybe bring the hands back behind us. Whoops. Slowly and gently step the foot down. Fold down into Uttanasana. Push the floor away as you round yourself up. And just go to the other side. Hands at your heart center, just take a little breath there. Inhale whenever you're ready, lengthen up maybe. Exhale, fold forwards again. Soften the knees, it's totally fine to do that, remember. Hands on the floor, maybe using the sofa, picking up now through the right foot, bend the knee. Again, stretching it out behind you. Pushing through the heels, so we're not pointing the toe to the ceiling. Trying not to lift up too much through that hip. Again, if your fingers are here, then that's fine, we can lift up. Again, just keep the head in line. You can do it with your hands on the floor. And if you want to you can pick the hands up. Slowly and gently come back down. Folding down. Push the floor away. Hands at your heart center. And just take a few breaths here. Go within, check in. Notice your breath, notice your beating heart, notice the fluctuation of your thoughts, but let's not try to get too attached to them. Remember, we're invited to be observers. Slowly and gently, whenever you're ready, let's bring ourselves down onto the floor. So coming down onto the floor, drawing those knees into your chest, hugging them in, maybe moving the head a little bit from side to side. I quite like taking the knees to the opposite side. For me, that feels nice. Bring the feet down onto the floor, maybe a little bridge pose here. Walk the hands down towards the heels, draw the chin in. And again, without kind of pushing and lifting up the heels or the toes, try to feel that those 4 points of your feet are on the floor. Just gently roll up and slowly roll back down. Take a couple of breaths before you feel that you're as high as you feel you need to today. Always listen to your body. Your body will be the best teacher you ever will have. Slowly coming back up and down. Lovely sense of massaging through the whole of your spinal column. And maybe when you come up this time, kind of stay there if that feels good. You can bring the hands underneath your thighs or your buttocks, supporting you. And just take a handful of breaths here. This lovely incline is helping to support a little bit through the abdominal area. Send the knees across the room. Draw the navel in. And slowly, whenever you're ready, like a string of pearls, release the vertebrae down, one at a time. Let the head move a little bit to relax the neck, maybe broaden the shoulders. Maybe bring those hands onto your belly to draw your attention back to your breath and maybe your beating heart. You can feel that little blood vessel pumping away. So we come to Shavasana. So again, it may be because we have this sofa so conveniently that we can come, if you remember we did this the other video where we brought the calves into the seat and we brought ourselves down, arms out beside us, maybe take them out overhead, whatever feels right for your shoulders. And just allow the kind of tipped back chair position, if you like, to really allow you to let go. Feel the whole of your back of your body sinking into the ground. You may not want to do that. You may be happy just to stretch your arms and legs out flat on the floor. Or you may want to come back and sit up against the chair so the back is helping you to sit up tall. Remember, like every other part of your yoga practice, your Shavasana is yours. So take a few moments here to find what position works for you. And never be shy about changing it. You know, we don't always get it right. The first position we find maybe isn't the right one for us. And just take a few moments here. Remember, your Shavasana can last as long as you need it to. Soften down, again checking that little scan for the crown of your head to your tailbone. From the points of your hips all the way down to your heels, from the shoulders, the head of your humerus bones all the way down to your fingers, thumbs and your palms. Whatever position you're in, just notice your amazing bodies. I saw a little quote yesterday. It said, you don't have to be perfect to be amazing. But let's also remember that it's our imperfections that make us perfect. So I'm going to leave you here, lying in whatever position works for you, sitting, taking your time. If you have the time, spend at least, 3, 4, 5 minutes maybe in your Shavasana. As always, I thank you so much for inviting me into your homes. From my home to you, from my heart to you. Namaste. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon. Bye.